is brought to you by PressPro.
I am John Sears, and I will be your host today for this episode of REO Success TV. Chris is out on a marketing visit with some clients, so he asked me to step in for him. So I threw on a nice jacket, spiffed up my hair a little bit, and now I'm ready to go. We've got a great show planned for you today. I've had the privilege of interviewing one of the most successful REO brokers. He also happens to be one of my best friends, Jason Benham. Today we also have a funny video, but serious, regarding an industry REO news update delivered by the one and only Josh Collins. Now before I hop into the interview with Jason, let me brag on him a little bit for his accomplishments. They're really quite impressive actually. As an REO broker and entrepreneur, he closed 1,800 REO properties over the last 2 years. Not only that, but he and his brother David established a franchise affiliate program called Benham REO. Now this franchise affiliation, they're responsible for over 10,000 REOs sold nationwide across their 100 or so offices. Being we are now in the second week of the new year, I am sure that most of you already have established your 2012 goals and you have all your New Year's resolutions already in place. But if you haven't set your goals yet, or even if you have, this interview with Jason will give you great insight into the importance of setting your aim as we launch into this new year. Now, Jason Benham here with us today in the studio. Jason's a successful REO broker and entrepreneur. Jason, thanks for coming on today. Tell our audience, what is it that makes you successful?
Well, I would say number one, for my brother and I, Proverbs 16:3 states that if you commit your way to the Lord, your plans will succeed. And so having the word plan in the Bible just shows that planning your course is a very important thing. So the beginning of every year, my brother and I, we write down our goals and we plan our course that way, and we really do everything that we can to stay on course.
How does setting goals help you be successful in business, Jason?
Well, if you can imagine going to a baseball game without bases or going to a basketball game without a scoreboard, that's what it would be like jumping into business and not writing down any goals. You have to have something that you can actually accomplish. What gets measured gets done. And as we write out goals and we go about our daily tasks, we will accomplish those goals.
You said what gets measured gets done. How can other businessmen out there know how to set a measurable goal?
Well, the first thing that you have to do is to determine between your long-term goals and your short-term goals. A long-term goal would be those things that you want to accomplish 5, 10, 15 years from now. The short-term goal chops that down into measurable, actionable items. A long-term goal being, I want to become a better husband for my wife. A proper short-term goal would be, I want to take my wife out on a date night every week. And that's how you first have to establish the difference between those two.
So how often would you say an individual should revisit or maybe even reset their goals? There's
nothing wrong with a business owner looking at his goals every day. My brother and I actually pray over our goals every day. When you want to actually revise them, I would do that at minimum quarterly. You can even do it monthly. And then at least once a year, spend a good half day to a full day envisioning the new year and writing down your long-term and your short-term goals for that year. And that's basically what we do.
We've just entered 2012. What advice can you give to our viewers on what they can do to be more successful in this coming year?
Number one is to determine between what is vital and what is urgent. We're all inundated with urgent tasks all day long. The BPO that has to be done, the cash for keys that you need to attend, taking your daughter to the dentist, those are urgent tasks. But what we have to understand is that the vital tasks are those things that move us towards our long-term goals. And those things are never urgent. The phone call to your wife to tell her you love her is not an urgent task, but it's vital. The phone call or the email to your asset manager to tell them you appreciate them is never urgent, but it is definitely vital. So I would say to determine between the vital and the urgent tasks.
This is Josh Collins with your real estate update. Well, CoreLogic this week called the National Association of Realtors out on the table, saying that they overstated home sales for 2010 by 15 to 20%. The NAR immediately responded, "No way, guys, that's crazy. We just double-checked and it was only 14.6%. But no big deal, right? I mean, they just adjusted the number down from 4.91 million to 4.19 million sales. I mean, we all get numbers backwards to the tune of 700,000 sometimes. Well, in other news, Fannie Mae has updated its selling guide to reflect recent changes in the HARP program. That's right, they removed the clause that states that in order to refinance their loan, a buyer must have the reasonable ability to repay. Really, guys? Let's take our little time machine and sputter back to 2006 and 2007 when the GSEs were giving loans to people who didn't even have the reasonable ability to repay. How did that work out again? Oh, that's right. It got us into the biggest housing crisis in history. Once again, this is Josh Collins. Have a great week, everybody.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this show and the interview with Jason Benham, as well as our REO update from Josh Collins. I sure have enjoyed my time as your host of this episode of REO Success TV. As always, if you have feedback or you have a certain topic that you would like us to cover on our show, email Chris at reosuccess.tv because we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm John Sears. Hello, this is Chris Evans here, host of REO Success TV. Get your chicken wings together, pull up your pants, put on your headdress. Let's go! REO Success TV time. Control! That's Chris Evans, the host of REO Success TV. Hello, I'm Chris Evans. I'm the host of REO Success TV. I think I'm really kind of handsome. I like my beard. I like my glasses. My spiky hair. It's pretty hot too. Welcome to REO Success TV, this week's episode, Chris Evans, host. I'm John Sears, and I will be your host of this week's episode of REO.
Wait.
Chris, I told you I wanted to be the host of the show.
This is my show.
You always get the spotlight.
Microphone.
No.
Are you